Do you hear me now? Hey now. Did you see how excited I was? You saw how animated I was, though. Do you hear me now? Oh, I crushed that. But nobody heard it. Nope. Okay, fine. Guess what? It's my show. I can start over again. Apparently the audio is going to be the snafu in this. Thank you so much for everybody for coming out and dealing with me while I figure out my stuff. Mom, Roseanne Rue, Sully, Kathleen, yes, I've been doing it for over a year, but still making those mistakes. Yep, Mike was on, muted on the StreamYard. That was the problem today. Oh well, am I going to harp on it? Probably, but no, seriously. Let's get back to why I'm really here. We're talking about advice. The kind of advice your parents have, your friends have, your coworkers have, and people on the internet who've only known you for just a handful of seconds. They definitely have advice. And here's the amazing part. A lot of that advice conflicts, right? One person says, follow your heart. The other one says, don't make emotional decisions. Take the risk, play it safe, save your money, enjoy your money, never quit, know when to quit. Be yourself, but also be slightly less yourself, please. Welcome to Being Alive. That is what it is. Today on Hey Now, we're talking about advice, how to take it, how to give it, who to listen to, when you should probably ignore it, and maybe most importantly, when nobody asked you in the first place. We've also got ancient rocks delivering warnings from humans years ago, a lesson on how to properly run like you're on Baywatch, the Beatles searching for answers, Sturgill Simpson's coming around on the mixtape, and somewhere along the way, we'll meet today's mystery person. Welcome to Hey Now. I'm Matt. Let's go. And that's where I left off when I discovered that we were not on the mic. Oh well, check it out. We're still rolling with our show. First clue today, you're going to notice some changes. That's why I wasn't all 100% prepared, making some changes. I'm interested in your, I don't like the way that looks with the background. I'm just going to put it out there. I hadn't looked at it with the motion and background. All right, but this is Hey Now. Who in the world are we talking about? Three clues throughout today's episode so that you can decide who we're talking about. He left school as a young teenager, and went on to work as an apprentice printer. Yep, that's our first clue in our Who in the World challenge. All right. Well, here it is. Thinking about advice, moving into advice. I'm interested in what kind of advice. You ever get really bad advice? Tell me who gave you really bad. No, don't tell me who, but what was it? What did you do? But I'll tell you what I've been thinking about advice. I finally figured out what bothers me about it. It's not that people give bad advice, and it's not that, of course, people are trying to give you bad advice. I've given bad advice. I'm sure you've given bad advice, but somewhere there's probably a person walking around right thinking, Matt told me to do this, and I'd like to formally apologize. No, really. What bothers me is the way we sometimes treat advice as though it's an instruction manual. Somebody we respect says, here's what you should do, and suddenly that's the answer. I don't think that's how it works. My philosophy is pretty simple. Take the advice, listen to it, consider it, process it, but don't automatically follow, because advice doesn't arrive by itself. It's carrying luggage. The person giving it to you has their own experiences, their own failures, and their own fears. They've had successes that of something that's motivating them. Maybe somebody tells you should never start your own business. Well, the first question might be why. Maybe they started one and lost everything. That's relevant. You should probably listen. But their experience doesn't necessarily predict yours. Someone else says you absolutely have to start your own business. And you ask why? Well, maybe they did it and made millions. Also relevant. Still doesn't necessarily predict yours. Same decision, two completely different lives. And that's the big rule. Be careful taking definitive advice from somebody who has never actually done the thing they're advising about. How many of us think about it? I've taken advice from people and I go, wait, why are they advising me? They don't. It doesn't mean you should dismiss them. Sometimes they see things differently or clearly. And sometimes people haven't lived in your situation. And you can tell the difference when they've asked you and they've come to understand your side of the situation before they try to provide solutions. Yep. And just because something worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Maybe the timing was different. Maybe they got lucky, whatever it is. So just take the advice, ask questions about it, think about where it's coming from, then make your own decision, because ultimately you're the one who has to live with it. That's my advice on advice. How about that? I'm advising on advice. What's the best advice you've ever ignored? There's a good question. Definitely with regard to health. Human beings are so highly variable. Sure, there are things that are common and known, but what works for one person doesn't work for another, especially when it gets down to treatments. We know treatments have their own biases in them, treatments that are suggested for you. But taking care of yourself is what matters, and knowing yourself. Perfect example. I was in the hospital today. I'm working in a hospital now. You guys know this. Here's my example. Walking down the hall, as I do, checking things out, and I see a gentleman there. Definitely has seen some years, but he was clearly there, and he was sitting in one of those walkers that also have a seat. It was his own personal thing, and he was sitting there. And I said, "Hello, sir, can I help you?" And he said, "No, I'm all right." And I said, "All right, well, do you need to get somewhere? Are you okay?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I know when it's my time to sit. I'll get up in a couple of minutes and I'll get up." And I said, "Well, I can get you a wheelchair. I'll take you, sir. No problem." Nope, this is the way I want to do it. He understood his body and what he was in. Of course, I stuck around and made sure he got there safely. But that's an example. I don't know. I went off on that tangent. That was a story that literally happened. Did I say today? It was yesterday. It was recently, because I've only been there 3 days. So, yeah, that's my story. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. All right, let's get this song off of here and move on. Move on with our friends. Who's out there? Roseanne, Kathleen, and Sully. I hope you're hanging. Oh, boy. Little toilet. That's not necessary, but I'm sure there are people in our chat here who will strongly disagree with any kind of disparaging of America's sweetheart, one of America's sweethearts, right? We're sad about Dolly. We lost Tim Curry too. That's not the way we play here, little toilet. Are you soft? No, actually, I'm not soft. I'm just smart. Today, apparently, okay, 2 things happened to cross my radar, and we're going to keep talking about it. You can find somewhere else that you think of that, or you might stick around and discover that it might not be true what you think from the way things appear to you. Little toilet, that's why we are here. All right. What we're going to talk about first is something worth knowing, and then something, well, that just happened. It's fine. Yep. Something worth knowing. Something worth knowing is the truth. The truth. Yes, sir. Okay. Severe drought and low rivers in parts of Europe. They've been exposing. There's something called hunger stones. You guys know about hunger stones? They are the hunger stones. For centuries, communities living along rivers in Central Europe mark rocks when water levels become unusually low. Dates, warnings, records of previous droughts. Some of these stones contain markings going back hundreds of years, and they basically have become markers from one generation to another. When the river gets low enough, things got difficult. Yep, because low rivers didn't just mean, oh, that's interesting. That meant failed crops and transportation problems, economic hardships. Yep. And one hunger stone on the Elbe River, I guess is it called? Elbe, has accumulated dates from multiple drought periods over the century. And here's the thing, they're starting to show again. Yep. And so they said, yep, maybe we should leave a note, and we got it. That's at the same levels they were at when they thought this was notable. Yep. True story. Yep, that I think is fascinating. Here's something that's not so fascinating, but for some reason has come up on my radar. You guys know who Livvy Dunne is? Like, I'm like, Livvy Dunne? Who the hell is Livvy Dunne? She's all over the place. I guess they're doing a reboot of Baywatch. Baywatch, Livvy Dunne. And apparently she's out on the circuit talking about it. And it's been doing so for some months, but apparently it's recently gotten kind of ridiculous and taken off as a little bit of a trend. And we're talking about her doing the Baywatch run. You guys know the slow-mo Baywatch run? Well, apparently she was on Fallon.
The signature slow-mo run?
Wait, that's my specialty.
Maybe you could show me how to do it tonight.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course. Let's get up. Come on.
All right, we're at the beach, you and I. Yep, we're hanging out. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Ready? On the count of three. Three, two, one.
So she's on Fallon doing the Baywatch run. I think many of us in Gen X remember that, certainly that Baywatch run, right? I didn't realize it required formal instruction, but apparently they're acting coaches. If you watch them over and over again, they all have their heads in the same place. They are moving their bodies in a very specific way, because why? Why do they have to run like that? Because it's called Baywatch. It's not called Bay Stumble or Bay groan your way through it. You're watching. They're watching the bay for us, guys. So if you're ever in the bay, you know there's people bay watching. I would be bay struggling, running on the beach. That would be my show. Maybe I'll start that show next. There's Hey Now, and then there's Bay Struggling with Maddie. The Baywatch run, absolutely. So apparently she's out there doing the Baywatch run. So if you start seeing the Baywatch run, it's coming back in 2027, and apparently we're all going to be seeing it. Yep. And here's the thing. There's always a connection. I'm making the connection between our stories. What's that connection? What do ancient European drought warning stones and running like you're on Baywatch have in common? Well, if there's less water than expected, somebody's going to have to start running dramatically. That's terrible. Terrible. Yep. Less water. Baywatch. There. Journalism. Let's get out of here. Enough's enough. Okay. How about clue number 2? That was awkward. Clue number 2. Back to today's mystery person. Whoever's out there, we're talking about 3 clues. 3 clues today to get you thinking about who we're talking about. Who in the world? He left school as a young teenager and went to work as an apprentice printer. And clue number 2, bad investment in get-rich-quick schemes landed him in serious financial trouble. He liked to be a little risky, this guy. Absolutely. We will find out who it was, who we're talking about. All right. So seriously, I've been thinking about this today, this topic for advice. And nope, not Ben Franklin. Good guess, though, the printing press, that whole thing. Good guess. But nope. So thinking about advice and how it's been around forever, right? Absolutely. Long before some 24-year-old in a rental Lamborghini told me to have passive income, or there was a TikToker telling me what to wear or whatever. There's a guy named William Shakespeare, and he wrote about this stuff too. What? Bill Shakespeare? Yep. William Shakespeare wrote about this. Hamlet. Polonius sends Laertes off into the world with his famous lines, right? Neither a borrower nor a lender be. It's one of those lines people repeated for centuries. And here's what's interesting, because Polonius, he says some genuinely sensible stuff. But guess what? Polonius, not a good guy. Meddling, verbose, and overconfident. He understands situation that he very much didn't understand. Okay, I'm talking about William Shakespeare literature. I find that extremely comforting, because apparently the guy dispensing quotable wisdom in 1600 was already the guy who was showing us his rental Lamborghini. We've all met him. We know him. He just knows. And Shakespeare gave us the reminder that the quality of the piece of advice and the quality of the person giving it are not always the same thing. We run things confirmed by ChatGPT. Yeah, it is the average of things. I agree with that. It's a little bit ChatGPT. That's why you got to get good at asking. If you're going to talk to your chat, I'm all about always one of the most frequently used words when I'm using chat. Alternative. Is there an alternative to that? What do you think? Let's look at it differently. You got it. I agree with you 100%. You find some nuggets that way, though, for sure. All right. And as long as we're talking about people giving advice back in 1600, how about right now? Right now, for my jam band friends. Anybody know Character Zero? Character Zero, a song by Phish. A piece of wisdom that gets handed down and absorbed, right? Absolutely. But yeah, that was a little bit of a question. This is not about who. Yeah, don't blame me for this one. He says in the song, I was taught a month ago to take my time and to take it slow. And then I learned just yesterday to rush and never waste the day. Absolutely. That was what I was trying to get at, that dichotomy of advice that we can receive out there. Yep, that's a Phish line. Yep, I was taught a month ago. Great song, Character Zero. Check it out. Although I still don't know who the man Mulcahy is, and if you're a Phish fan and you understand that. But anyway, who is the man Mulcahy? And maybe he's the one who's dispensing the really good advice from my Phish friends. Maybe so. Okay, we're getting a little weird. It's all right. It's all right. Trying new stuff. We've talked about receiving advice. We should probably discuss the more dangerous side, giving advice, because some of us, I'm certainly including myself, love to solve things. You tell me something's happening and I've already opened the PowerPoint. I've got it. All right, here's phase one. Here's phase two. Let's go. Strategic plan, blah, 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 blah. Someone has a horrible day and our instinct is, okay, well, here's what you should do tomorrow. No, maybe not. Yep, that's all right. You get what I'm saying. Absolutely. Sometimes the best thing to say is something like this. That sucks. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want advice, or do you want me to just listen? Because those are very, very different services and very different sentences. Yep. I guess the questions to ask are, did they ask? Did they ask for my advice? Yep. Or how about, do I actually know something useful about it? Right. Rather than yakking. That's our friend John Petrocelli, the BS specialist. How many times do we yak about stuff that we don't know? Right? We yak and yak. We think we know. Absolutely. That's a couple of ideas. Did they ask? And do I actually know something useful? Or how about, am I helping this person make their decision, or am I trying to make their decision for them? That's an interesting one. How often do we present our questions back, even in the solution, what we think that should be done? Absolutely. Yep. And good advice, I'm just thinking about good advice gives somebody more ability to think, and bad advice tries to eliminate their need to think. That. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's an interesting story, Sully. I would love to hear the story of the Holocaust survivor. I'm sure it was mind expanding. Actually, my wife, who was a journalist early in her career, had a chance down in Philly to meet and interview a Holocaust survivor. And this gentleman was so sweet. Apparently, he gave her this little coffee mug. She drank. He gave her something to drink. She met him at his home. He gave her the coffee mug. It was a Hershey's from probably like the amusement park. We still have it in our house. It's pretty cool. Very sweet. All right. Who in the world? Clue 3. We're getting all over the joint today. It's fun though. There it is. I guess we probably know who we're talking about now. Was an apprentice printer, lost a ton of money, and also Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, and a Connecticut Yankee made him famous. Who in the world are we talking about today, my friends? While you're doing that, I'll talk about this. One of my faves, right? Wait, that happened today? Yep. Mom, years up, August 26, 1967. 1967. Sully, I think this one will be interesting to you too, and many of our other friends out there. Absolutely one of the most famous bands, often voted the greatest rock and roll band of all time. We're talking about the Beatles. People were listening to them, watching them, imitating them, and trying to understand them. And what were the Beatles doing? They were looking for somebody to listen to too. Absolutely. They were, and I was going to show you. Apparently, there it is. Boom. Yep. The Beatles. The Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo. No, just John, Paul, and George, I think. Yeah. Ringo joined them later. I don't remember. The band had recently encountered the Maharishi's teachings on transcendental meditation and became fascinated by that. Imagine being the Beatles in 1967. You've got money, fame, influence, access. Millions of people think you have the answer, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go look for some answers myself. I'm sure some Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds helped them go find the Maharishi to travel and find out what their relationship could be. Yep. Oh boy. I've got a cat. We knew one would make an appearance. Say hi. My goodness, I don't know which one you are. Parker, maybe? I don't know. Okay. That's interesting. Beatles stuff and then getting distracted by a cat. How about the other interesting thing? Yep. When they came back the following day, their manager, Brian Epstein, had died, right? And one of their search for me. Do you guys see this? What is happening? Cats, this is what they do. Okay, this is what we're doing right now. Apparently this cat wants to be involved in the program. Say hi then if you're going to do it. Go ahead, say hi. All right. Well, if that wasn't the sloppiest segment in live streaming history, I don't know what is. Okay. This is the kind of thing that happens. All right. It's fun. I promised it would be fun. I promised it would be fun. You remember 4 months, Mom. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't even a gleam in the eye, right? All right. Did anybody guess my Mike Love? Yep. All right. I just got. She wants to be adopted. Yeah, I guess. Which one are you? Which one are you? I don't know. I'll have to get back to you guys about that. I get confused. There's a few that I absolutely know. But are you Penelope? No, Penelope is lighter, though. I'm so confused. But it might be. I'll have to get my sister in here. I don't know what that says. Peanut. Haha. Welcome in, Peanut. Haha. All right. We're getting to our Who in the World reveal. Welcome in, everybody. It's been a little late. Okay. Yeah, it's getting late here. We got kitties. Oh, I'm a gangster. No, I'm not a gangster. I'm a prankster. I'm not a gangster. I'm a prankster. All right. Well, for those of you who weren't around, we had 3 clues to guess who we were talking about, and nobody guessed, though, I think. Or did you guess, Kathleen? If you did and I missed it, I apologize. We had a Ben Franklin guess. You know, that's the question. Where is it? Roseanne, where is Jess? If anybody sees Jess of the WWL, tell her to come up back. We miss her. She said she would be around 7:30 at night. She hasn't been around. I kept the name of the channel Kindness Rising on purpose so that people who knew me before when I was doing the Kindness Rising show could come into Hey Now. Hey now, kitty. Hey now. All right. Anyway, the guy was a printer. Then he gambled away or lost a bunch of his money. Then he wrote Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, and a Connecticut Yankee. That's who we're talking about right there. Mike Twain. Mike Twain's his brother. He didn't do so good. He fell off the boat. Mark Twain, Samuel Langhorne Clemens. Yes. Printer, Mississippi River pilot. Yep. And creator of all those stories. Also from right up the road, Elmira, New York. If you have a chance to go to the Elmira, New York airport, you can visit a fun statue of Mark Twain. I have. All right. This is absolutely, yes. The jumping frog, the famous jumping frog of Calabasas County. That was the one made him famous. Yep. All right. So we got to Mark Twain. Why Mark Twain? I don't even remember. Why Mark Twain? It was supposed to be connected to giving advice. Oh, yeah. Mark Twain gave a lot of advice out there. Absolutely. Mark Twain was a big advice giver. And so is this guy. You guys know who Sturgill Simpson is? Let me play. I'm trying to do this. Play a little bit of the song. This is from his performance about 9 years ago of the song I want to talk about. It was actually the first time I ever saw him. I had heard his music. First time I'd ever seen him live was on a Saturday Night Live. Except it's not showing you. We'll get there in just a second, guys.
Don't get busted selling at 17. Well, now more songs to sell, too long to read more. More roll is more roll. Just keep the engine cool. Keep your eyes on the prize. Everything will be fine. Oh, stay in school, stay off the hard stuff. Keep between the lines.
Stay in school, stay off the hard stuff, and keep between the lines. Very fatherly type advice, right? Sturgill Simpson, Keep Between the Lines, a song from A Sailor's Guide to Earth. I love the song. It's great. Got to go, Kathleen. I'm glad you were here. Thanks for joining all the time. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Yep. So, and this album, if you've ever have a chance to hear it, it's called A Sailor's Guide to Earth. And it was his message to his kid. He admits that it was advice from a parent. Maybe that's complicated because when you care about something deeply, you desperately want to hand them the cheat codes. I'd like to hand the cheat codes to this little kitty. Yep. No, she's got to figure out some stuff for herself. Absolutely. And that is a period in life that you go through, right, Mom? Where you got to let the kids figure stuff out for themselves. But you're always their parent. Yes. Apparently. Okay. Yeah, ran a little long today. Got a little confused with the cats. Trying some new graphics, some new ideas. But always here. Bringing kindness, a little bit of joy, and a little bit of, whoa, cat falling all over the, hey now. Polonius had advice. Yep. Mark Twain had advice. The Beatles went looking for advice. Phish reminds us how easily somebody else's ideas can become ours. And Sturgill Simpson gives advice to his son. Somebody on TikTok is giving very specific instructions about your hair should move while you run toward the ocean. We're surrounded by advice. Some of it's brilliant, some of it's terrible. Most of it is probably somewhere in between. So maybe the goal isn't figuring out who has the answer. Maybe it's the goal is just to become better at listening. Come on back tomorrow. Thanks for joining me here. I'm going to keep working on this thing day in, day out. That's what I do. And that's how advice, best advice. Check the audio first. Yep. Well, you never know where I'm going to be coming from. I'm probably going to be coming from right here tomorrow again, 7:30 a.m. I can pretty much guarantee it. That's my intention. I appreciate everyone. Have a great night. Stay uncommon and stay kind.